Hello everybody, how's it going? I'm InkEyes, welcome to my channel, welcome back to Tahira, Echoes of the Astral Empire. So before I start the episode, I just wanted to say something real quick, is that I noticed on my first episode there was a dislike, but there wasn't any comment regarding the dislike, and I just wanted to say, I care a lot about that stuff, and I don't mean like likes and dislikes, I mean as much as I like likes. I don't care about the dislike itself, but I care about like the reasons behind it. I always, want to improve my content and make sure I'm delivering something worthwhile. And don't be shy. Like if there's something wrong and it prompts you to leave a dislike, I would love to hear from you. I would love to understand why, so I can actually make things better and yeah, correct myself basically. Anyway, so let's go back into the game. I'm super excited now that I know about the ambush ability, which was like the coolest ability that we got to play around with in the past couple of episodes. Now it is time to put way more skills to the test and see if I can actually pull them off, like all together in a fight. Like the stun move, that's something that I keep forgetting about apparently. Like that half sword drive, that I finally say the name correctly. Hooray! I gotta use that more often, but at the same time it uses a will point, and if I'm gonna use that, sometimes I'd rather use the crushing blow to be able to break the enemy's guard and lessen their damage that they can do to me, in return. There's no one here. Ever this place would remind me of the past. Memories and spirits linger here longer than they should. Ah yes, that patented Baruti comfort. How I missed it. This is really funny dialogue actually. The patented Baruti comfort. You know just how to spook someone, my friend. And you do not have enough faith, Tahira. She's here. Let me show you. Ow, ow, ow. Has anyone seen a rather aggressive and robust woman? Some might call her unnaturally robust. Others say she has much of the Sasquatch about her. Damn. Oh shit. Oh shit. What's this? The hammer. If the scrawny little man doesn't want to create the world's most pathetic imprint in the earth below, I suggest he check his tongue. My dear, did I not say others? I see you as a magnificent pearl, whose rare beauty is only witnessed by those brave enough to plunder your depths. Such big words from such a tiny man. I'm surprised you got here so soon. Your little legs must make travel difficult. My little legs, but you are forgetting my most important leg. Enough. Enough. Now is not the time, little man. There are people here I must greet. Baruti, the Lion of Avestan. Well met, my old friend. We gave you a Tahira. I know this is a lady, as far as biology goes, but she's very butch and she's ready to kill. We gave you a Tahira world 20 years ago. He started to sound like Baruti himself. That would visit your kingdom. The Hummer. Oh my god, I'm getting everybody's voices confused now. Well met indeed. It has been too long. It is my shame that it has taken circumstances such as these for us to fulfill a pledge. I'm just gonna make random voices. Do you care that much? If you do, then, sorry. Is this Tariq's daughter I see with you? My name is Tahira. Salam, Tahira. I've looked forward to meeting you. So anyone who is willing to stand up to Tahira has the sort of guts I admire. And where is he anyway? Much desire to continue an argument with him right now. Tahira has fallen, Hammer. He was attacked in the light by the invaders. He took them all with him, but... Took them all with him? A harsh, hard old bastard. Till the day he died. These days are full of woe, my friends. Both of you have my sympathy. Tariq was a good man. There are few enough of those among the rulers left in this world. He would have enjoyed seeing you both again. What's the situation in town? Has everyone been evacuated? All the buildings were abandoned when we arrived, but there has been a steady stream of refugees passing through all evening. The last were here no more than half an hour ago. Despite our best efforts, the enemy is not far behind us. There aren't many defensive positions between here and Baride. We'll have to hold Tahira for as long as we can. We anticipated as much. My women have been barricading the town entrance and preparing some defenses from their archers. Lend me some of your men and we should be able to make short work of what remains. Of course, consider them yours. Command. Good. Then I'll get back to it. I'm afraid I must borrow the claw. He is a master of short work. Though his foul plumage does add a few desperately needed inches. Does this mean you have a use for my longsword? You have to come with me if you want to find out. Trophies. Okay. Alright, let's see what happens here. Tahira, Baruti. It has been a pleasure. I will see you both in... Wait! I hope I'm going with him. I want to fight as the Claw Man. The Claw is so cool with his whole, like, vicious massacre attack. I will see you both in a little bit later. I have some things to do, to tend to, Are they... Almost certainly. I see. They are quite something. They both have their failings, but they are good people. Of that I have no doubt, Baruti. Shall we see what awaits us in town? This game is pretty, like, mature. I like it. I like adult games. Games that acknowledge, flirtation and adult situations and the fact that, you know, sex is a part of life and, you know, it can't be ignored in video game characters. If you want to give them heart and soul, then you could also, like, kind of, you know, put a little bit of light on that aspect of their personality as well. A fine idea. Some coffee would be a great idea too here. Are they making short work of the barricades? I can hear some noises in the background. Indeed, we will be able to mount a strong defense here. Though I fear it will be bloody battle. Every time we fight them, it's bloody Baruti. At least now we have some allies. Literally, last time I think we killed 50 of them. True. They are good friends, the only ones who came to our aid, despite our treaties with Babylon and Asmara. I've been wanting to talk to you about that. With Asmara's betrayal, we can no longer hope to make the journey to Babylon. Even if we can escape the enemy. You're right. I've been worrying about it since the Claw delivered the news. There are other mountain roads which lead from the pass, but they all go north. I have not been that way in many years. If the drought and devastation that have struck our kingdom have occurred there as well, then I worry for our ability to feed everyone who has escaped. There's nothing we can do about that. Now, I mean, let's just focus on getting to Baride. That will be no mean feat. That will be no mean feat given the way the night is unfolding. Yo, microphone drop. That is tough to say. You're right, Tahira. It is hard to say. You especially should get some sleep. How many consecutive days have you been in the saddle? This will be the 6th. You're right. It has been a long day already. Time to take that glove off. If you have the energy before bed, I would do the soldiers good to see you amongst them. I'm sure the Claw and Hammer would like to talk to you as well. Fine. Oh my god. When am I gonna sleep? Must I, Baruti? You keep telling me that my presence will lift people's spirits, but I don't think I see what you see, brother. I barely understand how this staff works. I'll never be able to walk in the light like Father did. Child, listen to the men speak, Tahira. I think you will be surprised. As for the staff, you're being too hard on yourself. It took your father many years to master its uses. You've had it for less than a day. Very well. At least there's some stars to sleep under tonight. You are sure you want to sleep outside? There are plenty of beds in a monastery. I've never liked that place. I always feel as if I'm being watched when I walk around it. I understand I spoke truly before. There is something about this place. Ancient memories linger within the stones of these mountains. Their spirits are restless. Ooh. I do not take you for a superstitious man, Baruti. There are many things in this world that I do not understand, Tahira. Knock on wood, I trust my instincts. The rest I leave to other people. That sounds like a wise approach. Good night, superstitious Baruti. Good night, judgmental princess. I will wake you when the enemy arrives. Not. You're a horrible person. What are you up to, man? Iba, what are you doing? Hey, you got enough to eat, Iba? The troll. What are you guys up to over here in this corner? Then she charged ahead into battle. You should have seen her, my friends. The light beaming from her staff. She felt scores of them by herself. I mean, I did, didn't I? I charged in behind her. Her words still ringing in my ears. Do not let fear cage that which you know to be true in your heart, soldier. It worked. I beat back my fear, and I came out alive. She is wise beyond her years, guys. Listen to me. The leader we need in these dark times is Tahira. Ha! His tune has changed. You should have heard him before she arrived. She has got a lot to prove to me. Meh. It looks like she has gone. Wait, what? It looks like she has done that, Yunus. You must stop telling people that, Masood. I will not have anyone speak badly of the princess, and I do not like people knowing that I did so. Perhaps you should have said it then, but come. I'm only joking, my friend. She has led us well. Of that there is no doubt. With our new and old friends by our side, I have begun to hope for the future of our people again. Well said, Masood. Well said. Well said. Well said. You punk. Hello. How was sexual intercourse tonight? Look who it is, my favorite princess. You look quite happy. You're in a good mood, Claw. And why not? We are alive and free. Yes, I'm sure that's it. What happened to you? What is that scar? The way you speak about Babylon, it's clear you think poorly of them. I do, and with good reason. What did they do to you? The same thing that they have now done to you. They promised us help and did not deliver on that promise. To understand their betrayal, there are a few things you need to know, Tahira. For as long as any living Oranian can remember, we had been in conflict with the warlords who ruled the kingdoms along our southern border. In the capital, we'd hear stories of raids, with farm animals stolen, or very occasionally rumors of our village being attacked. Mostly, though, the threat of the Oranian army marching south kept them in check. But that began to change. The stories of raiding parties became more frequent, and they were no longer limited to the towns near the border. I was only 16 when this was happening, a junior officer with some skill with a blade, but no concept of what war was really like. Maybe this guy should have played this war of mine. A report came in that shocked the army into action. One of the border towns had been sacked. The raiders had hacked apart every villager they could find and left them as a pile of limbs at the town entrance. In hindsight, it was a warning of what was to come. The raids continued to become more frequent and each one was more brutal than the last. Finally, my regiment was sent south to get the situation under control. The things I saw down there, Tahira, it was butchery like the likes of which the world had never seen. I'm not sure even the enemy we're fighting now could match. We soon learned they were not killing to gain territory, food, or valuables. They were killing because they wanted to. They felt it was their purpose. That sounds horrific. It was. I remember the first man we captured. His arms and legs were dripping with blood from cuts he had given himself. We needed to learn more about these people, so we tied him up and listened to him speak for hours. He spoke of this world being doomed to die, of the fall of the Astral Empire and the end of all things. Most disturbing of all, he spoke of their leader, a man he referred to as only as Maveth. He told us Asmaveth had given his name to the world to free us from our bodies so we could become one with the light. He created a death cult, Tahira. The ideas of a man did that? That's terrifying. Most people in this world are followers, Tahira. You must make them follow you. Otherwise, they will find someone else who may not care for others the way you do. That's right, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, become my follower, and everything will be good. Otherwise, I may have to kill you. I learned that the hard way. I'm sorry. I know I have not answered your question, but I do not wish to think of those people anymore. Of course, Claw, I understand. Those people are horrible. If you want to hear the rest of the tale, ask the Hammer. She is stronger than I and will not talk or balk at the telling.
About Oran, I must confess, Claw, I don't know much about your homeland.
I can't say I'm surprised that Tahira and Baruti did not speak about it with you. Even I find it hard to recall the good times without also remembering the war. Baruti has told me a little about the sack of Oran. Ha! Why doesn't that surprise me? He's always been one to only tell the depressing part of the story. I wish he could have seen Oran in his glory, Tahira. It was a happy place, you know? A place where you were free to live the way you wanted to. We were not bound by the ancient laws of Babylonians or the shadowed memories of the Astral Empire. People have forgotten now, but Oran was a republic. All citizens were considered equal. We had no monarchy, nor any discrimination based on race or gender. It sounds amazing. I've always thought Avestan would be a better kingdom if all the citizens had a say in its future. That is why you will make a better ruler than most, Tahira. In my youthful naivety, I considered Oran a beacon of hope that all people would flock to in time. Any dreams I had of that world died a long time ago. I'll see you later, man. Ta-ta! What are you guys doing? Are you not nearly done with that?
I've nearly got it.
We'll be done soon, Claw. Good. Get yourself something to eat when you are. I hear it's vulture stew. Alright, what else is over here? There's the hammer. Can I go inside? No, I can't. Of course not. Can I get some vulture stew? Did I see a vulture beacon at stew?
Yes, is that a problem?
No, I'm quite fond of vulture, actually. It definitely beats rats or eating our horses.
Ha! You're not wrong about that. My name is Indira. Pleased to be fighting by your side, lady.
My name is Abdullah. It's a pleasure to fight by your side, too, beautiful stew maker. How long have you been with the hammer and the claw?
5 years. Most Iranians who come up age join up at least for a year or two.
You must like it to stay so long.
It's an exciting life, you know. Who would not want to fight alongside the claw and the hammer? They are legends. I have posters of them on the bedroom wall.
It was they who single-handedly held the gates to the commoners' quarters when the rest of Oran had fallen to the hordes of the Asmaveth. They saved so many people, Abdullah. But now we are a nation with no home, so we fight with our heroes and trust them to lead us. Well, what do you think of that? What you think of that? I think that's amazing. How does it look from up there?
It looks good. We don't need to fill in the gaps and we should be done.
Silly. Tahira, I was hoping you would have a chance to speak. I have to thank you for coming to help us, Hammer.
There's no need for that. We have not forgotten what your people did for us.
How long have you led your own mercenary company?
Me?
I've never seen so many female fighters. They look very experienced, even the young ones over here making stew. How long have you been leading them?
It must be nearly 20 years now. When we lost our homeland, Babylon took us in. We did not want to live off their charity. Our people needed money for food and materials so we could grow our industries again.
So you and the Claw started a company? Indeed, we had become quite famous among what was left of our people. The remains of the army joined us, as did a few Babylonians who were sympathetic to our cause.
These days, a year or two of service has become a tradition for Oranian youngsters when they come of age.
Is there much work for mercenaries? I would have thought the Babylonian army would be powerful enough to keep the peace.
Ha! You vastly overestimate them if you think they will ever leave their precious city.
There's always a town somewhere that needs protection from bandits, or failing that, a merchant who will pay well to be escorted to their next destination. Occasionally, if the tribesmen from the south encroach on Babylon's borders, they hire us to drive them away. That's tough. That's tough life, man. This is literally what it says here too. It's not a glorious life or a glamorous life, but it's better. It's actually a glorious life, but it's not a glamorous life. But it's better than begging for charity. The Claw was telling me about Asmaveth. I was speaking to the Claw earlier, and he was telling me about the war. It sounded horrible. He could not bear to tell me the whole story, and told me you could maybe fill in the blanks a little bit, and the gaps. What did he get up to? He was telling me about the man his regiment captured, the one who told him about Asmaveth.
Then he did not tell you the worst part of the story, else you would have mentioned it. The Claw's commander did not have the man killed, as he wanted to bring him back to the capital. He escaped in the night, helped by one of the soldiers.
He was helped? Why would anyone do that?
That's a good question. He was the first Oranian I know of who was seduced by Asmaveth, but he was not the last. While this was going on, I was on expedition far to the east. I returned to the capital just in time to hear the news that Helm, the largest town south of the capital, had fallen. There were so many refugees in the capital that it was all the army could do to maintain order in the city. So we sent out requests for aid to neighboring kingdoms. Let me unplug this controller, because I don't know how that's going to work with the game. Queen Delphina of Babylon replied swiftly, telling us she would bring her army and put an end to Asmaveth and his followers. So we waited inside in the capital as it was encircled. It was a perfect trap. They would lay siege to the city, and the Babylonians would be able to destroy them in one blow. Except the Babylonians never came.
How could they not? I believe they saw an opportunity to eliminate a rival, and they took it. That is some backstabbing nonsense. Damn, that is harsh. Things grew dire after that. Every night those madmen would catapult scores of themselves over the city walls. Jesus. That's when the attacks began. Our own people started turning on us. I don't know if they really believed Asmaveth's lies, or if it had just become too much for them, you know? Not that it matters. One by one, we lost control of the city's district until everyone who had not lost their minds sat quaking behind the walls of the commoner's quarter. It was terrible. It was horrible, Tahira. I still have nights when I wake up in a cold sweat remembering those days. I cannot imagine, Hammer. We thought we were done for, but then your father came. I remembered seeing the white light of his staff split the night sky and wondering if I was dreaming. Then I heard the horns and the battle cries of you people, and I knew I was not. Your father and Baruti cut a path through the fanatics to the gates of the city. We fought all night to keep the path clear for people to escape. Many Avestanian, Oranian lives, or Oranian, should I say Oranian, were lost that night. But we lived, thanks to Avestan's sacrifice. Now I understand why people talk about my father the way they do. He did great thing, Tahira. He did a great thing. He was already a crotchety bastard back then. I cannot imagine what you had to grow up dealing with. Hold on. Where's my phone is too far away from me. Never mind that, Hammer. Please finish your story. I understand the word in context, probably. Queen Delphin's brother, Isidore, seized the throne after that, and finally marched the Babylonian army south to destroy Asmaveth and his followers. But when they arrived at the capital, they found only a charred ruin filled with the dead. The fanatics had burned themselves alive. We had nothing to return to. I'm so sorry, Hammer. I fear you and your people are in the same situation now, Tahira. Rest assured that we will stand by you. Thank you, but we will basically be going back to a burnt down city until then in the morning. Sleepy tighty. Can I go in here? Nope. Start the Baruti before I hit the hay.
Do you hear the wind howling through the houses, Tahira? This is a haunting place.
It's strange to walk amongst the empty buildings. I half expect to see candlelight each time I look through a window.
Tonight must be the first time your people have not occupied this land for hundreds of years.
I'm sorry about Mazdak. We've been so focused on Avestan and surviving that I haven't told you how sorry I am about the fate of Mazdak.
Thank you, Tahira. I was saddened by the news, but it has been a long time since I had ties to that kingdom. The last was my mother, and she passed from this world many years ago.
How did you come to serve Avestan?
Your father never told you the story?
No, he didn't. I've heard bits and pieces from a few people, but never the whole tale.
It must have been 35 years ago. Mazdak was ruled by a man known only as a slave king. Slavery was outlawed in most kingdoms on the continent, but not in Mazdak. Many traders from other lands traveled across the ocean to buy slaves from the city. I was one of the lucky ones. My mother's owner ran a shipyard. When I was old enough, I was put to work there. It was hard work, but it was better than being taken to some far-off kingdom, or worse, taken to the slave king's palace. I'd been working there for a few years when I started to hear stories of a man who claimed he would depose the slave king and abolish slavery. No one I knew had met him, but there was a rumor that he was a butcher from the merchant's district. His supporters called him the Butcher of Mazdak. Concerned that he was losing control of the city, the slave king imposed martial law and started executing any slaves who were caught speaking of freedom. That was a final straw for your grandfather, who had long wanted to end the practice of slavery. He declared war on the slave king and marched the Avestani army to Mazdak. I was pressed into service as a scavenger. Between battles, I would search the dead on the battlefield for weapons or armor that could still be used. On one of my forays, I found a young Avestani soldier who had been left for dead. He was still breathing, so I picked him up and carried him to the Avestani lines. He was your father.
So you joined the Avestani army after that?
Indeed, your grandfather made me a royal guard.
What happened to the slave king?
He had a simple death in the end. While the army was out fighting the war, the Butcher of Mazdak laid a rebellion and took control of the city. The slave king found himself caught between the walls of the city and the Avestani army. Most of his force chose to surrender, but he did not. Your grandfather challenged him to a single combat and took only minutes to cut him down.
What do you know about Tahira? You're right about this place. It's strange here. The air feels suffocating. I wish I knew more of its history. Father was always very dismissive of it, but I feel like I should understand our history.
I'm afraid I can't be of much help. As you already know, the land here is your people's ancestral homeland. They lived here long ago, and long before the Babylonians ever crossed the mountains.
I wonder what it was like back then.
You have only to look at the monastery to get some idea. I've heard a few stories of the monks who studied here. Some say they were masters of the light.
Would that they were still here so they could teach me their ways? Your father once told me that the barbarian tribes used to come here once a year on a pilgrimage.
That was before the Babylonians drove them away, of course.
They seem angry at us for that. They saw it was a betrayal, but your ancestors had the choice of allying with the Babylonians or being driven from this land, just as the barbarians were. I don't see how that is so different to what is happening now, Baruti. No, suppose it isn't, but to carry a grudge for 300 years, that is a poisonous thing. At some point, you must accept the wrongs of the past and move on. That's easy to say when you're not the one who was wronged. People hold grudges. It's tough. I'm going to talk to a few people, or a few more people, Baruti.
Of course, Tahira. I'll see you later. Have a good night.
Meow. Meow.
That was a lot of information. also pretty serious and painful stories. Father? Alright guys, it's been a long episode. I'm gonna call it here. We're gonna see what happens with Tahira's father now. This midnight visit of this almost sainted person now among all these soldiers. But thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I would greatly appreciate that, and subscribe for more episodes. And as always, thank you